Just losing his last.
What's up, guys? I'm Puckett, and it's time for Game 6 of one of the best series we've seen between two of StarCraft's biggest rivals, Liquid Huk and MLG Idra. After falling behind 2-1 in their first meeting, Idra came back strong in the losers bracket, winning 2 straight to take the lead in the best of 7. All eyes were on fan favorite Liquid Huk as he faced elimination. Now, during this game, I want you to keep an eye on the following things. At the 14-minute mark, watch as the tension builds in an epic standoff. At 17:30, check out the macro as Idra stockpiles 3,800 minerals. And at the 2010 mark, watch the bottom portion of your screen for the show of emotion so rarely displayed in the StarCraft scene.
But it looks like the map choice has been selected. It is Scrap Station. We're going into Game 6, I guess it would be, between Idra and Huk. MLG Idra spawning in the north position as the blue Zerg. Huk choosing Scrap Station. He is the red Protoss in the right position.
Yeah, so immediately, one thing to note is that, well, I don't know. I'm just not sure. Jumping into Scrap Station, I started thinking about why did Huk choose this, actually? Why did Huk decide to go with this? We've seen Idra with some very deadly strategies here on Scrap Station, but, with Protoss utility, you could kind of change that distance that you're, it seems like a long distance, but of course with Warp Gate, it can change everything. So, I don't know, any thoughts on that? You want to brainstorm at all about that?
Well, Protosses have lately been really shifting their opinion about this map, whereas it used to be, oh my gosh, most Zerg map ever, big frowny faces. Protosses have slowly begun to love early expanding pretty quickly on this map and trying to drill through the center. It's pretty hard, if you look at the architecture of the map, for Zerg to secure a very easy third with the exception of this bottom left gold. But if you think about it, you can put pressure on the main and the gold a little bit more easily as Protoss than you can to defend it as Zerg. So we do see that spawning pool going down now for Idra. Huk has to play very, very well, hanging up at 300 APM zone. Idra may very well be able to make this comeback real and take down Huk with a 3-0, having won 3 games in a row from that initial 1-2.
2 drones going out, which means we're going to have a little fight over this natural with the probe from Huk. Let's see who can win here as probes put on patrol, takes a couple of hits almost instantly, and looking for that $100 right there, and actually he like shot up there on the $100, and does he get the pile? No, he doesn't. The hatchery does go down for Idra, and the probe will also get away, although a little hurt. He does get away.
Now this is a little weird by Huk. I think he may have accidentally forgotten a cybernetics core because he started his assimilator and then started the second gateway, and I think Idra's going to be real surprised when he sees this gateway coming out right now.
Yeah, okay, interesting. And here comes the Overlord right now, and the Overlord from the back, and he's going to get vision of that and realize what is going on. And I think you're right. I don't know, even if it was a mistake, might be a bit confusing there. Pylon at the front to try to make this wall, and the Zealot is popping out. Right now we have some Zerglings, very, very smart. Again, Zerg find the probe. As you see, one Ling up there on the deck inside the natural of his opponent. The other one going to go around into the various Zelnaga towers, try to gain vision. So we're going to have speed coming out here very soon. And does Idra have an extra drone on gas right now?
Whoa, Idra with the uncharacteristic 4 on gas, making up for all those 1 and 2 on gases in the previous game, so he gets an average of 3. There's Huk's third gateway, but, again, this is some very funky timing by Huk. I mean, things are lining up somewhat nicely, but I still cannot quite tell if this is intentional or not.
We're going to have a sentry coming out of that back gateway, the backdoor gateway, and we still have Idra here with this Overlord, sees everything that's going down, and will begin to move to the center of the map. We'll keep one there. Pylon going out as well. Zergling is going to find this probe, heading on over to the natural expansion. Going to try to take him out, and he does before he himself loses his life. Drone's starting to occupy the expansion of Idra. Speed is on his way, and now a split between drones and lings right now coming out. And this is typically exactly what we're seeing with the Roach Warren drop. So really sticking to that opening, which seems to be pretty dynamic, but obviously really opting for those early roaches with a little bit of tech on them.
We do now see there's the hallucination coming out right now. Very unusual to have 4 sentries right as your warp gate's finished, but we see that Huk doesn't quite have the resources to do much with it. He's actually saving up, throwing down a forge, still a little entrance right there. And actually Idra delayed this layer just a little bit longer because he was still unsure, didn't know if he needed to save gas for them roaches. We see Stalkers now getting warped in for Huk, and it looks like, well, that Overlord, does get taken out. These other 2 Stalkers might be able to take out this one Overlord, but I'm a little surprised to see Stalkers being made by Huk so early.
Yep, Stalkers are coming out. He is going to go for the second Overlord. Already supply blocked. If he does take this out, and he will, that will put him even further behind. Just as he gets back into the white, goes back down to the red. Currently 47 supply for Idra. There he finally pops back into okay status. 41 supply here for the Protoss. Beginning to move out. We got some lings moving around. Didn't go for those back rocks. Again, the Stalkers out here. But we've got roaches. Roach Warren going to be finishing. It is done. The Hydralisk Den right behind it, Day. So could we possibly see maybe another base go down, just get ready, and then like a solid attack through the middle after the creep is spread? I don't know.
I actually think that's exactly what Idra's trying to do. Oh no, this could backfire so violently against Huk. This could be a huge blunder. Exactly what Idra is trying to do is to get a whole bunch of Overlords with speed, knock down this destructible rock, knock down that one, and just Overlord highway it. We see that that speed carapace upgrade for the Overlord is almost done. What will Huk end up seeing? He sees one evolution chamber. He needs to end up scouting around to find that one Hydralisk Den, though.
Wow, he's actually doing some good damage versus these Stalkers right here. Catches a bunch off the side. Sentries aren't there to help with any of the force fields. He takes out at least one, and he will clean that up, but softens some of those up quite nicely. The rocks did take a little bit of damage there, and he'll continue to move out here. Don't forget, we also have +1 for Huk. Roach speed, 7 Hydras coming out along with the Groove Spines upgrade.
And there's the Overlord popping in. Huk accidentally click fires his pylon, undoes that, and continues to press forward. Robo Bay coming down very, very early on. Needs to get those Colossi started. I mean, if Idra decides to knock these down, it's going to be less than 30 seconds before he's at the front door of Idra, or of Huk.
Yeah, I know we see a lot more Hydras starting to come out. The creep tumors going to be heading on through, and actually, well, there we see the third going down here. Huk is going to scout that with this hallucinated Phoenix. Going to also see the Hydras as well, and there goes one Overlord over to behind the rocks, trying to make sure at least he has a creep spread down to his third. And nope, that Overlord is actually going to go back in the base. He has lost a few, but has been getting a lot of good information out of there. Meanwhile, 2 more gateways right there at the front. Now, are those gateways in a position, Day, where they could be beneficial to Huk if he decided to go through there?
Oh, this would be a great positioning for the gateways defensively, especially because those Colossi will easily be able to retreat behind them. You can't have any units run up there and cause any problems. A lot of Hydrals out right now for Idra, but hasn't done too much with them, just playing a pretty standard defensive game. And I don't think we're going to see the drone count get particularly high for Idra. It looks like Idra's going to be committing to a 3-base defense. Again, this passive style that Huk enjoys so much, I think, is going to work out very well on Scrap Station. Huk slowly beginning to knock these down. Looks like he's gearing up for a 2 Colossus push.
And 10 more roaches on the way. +1 attack about ready to complete as well. Observer from Huk just on a perfect edge. And look at that. We do have an Overseer morphing as well. Makes any Zerg versus Protoss happy to see that. Got to watch out for those hallucinations.
And man, Idra is just really on his game. Finishing that Overseer, immediately noticing that there is that one Observer, but man, Huk is getting a little bit risky knocking this down. He needs to wait till he has the range for the Colossi, but it looks like he has everything already lined up so beautifully.
And he's going to go right into the front. He issues an attack on the rocks, And although there is no creep, that might be the one advantage that Huk has a little bit. If Idra notices what is going on and just take a quick look at his vision, he is going to see that there's something going on there. Moving all these units up, he could get rid of those sentries and then would have an easy march up. 2 Colossus out now, though, and that makes the Protoss push through this center pretty deadly.
And look at this, Idra is not even able to mine from his 3rd base, but I don't know if this is a good or bad choice by Idra, because honestly, Huk's pretty much committing to this attack. He now has 7 gateways, a robo, 8 production structures. He is advancing forward. The big attack's going to be coming up real soon, but Huk very responsible about sending out those Phoenixes.
Oh, wow. And he's going to see a lot of units behind that. He knows that there's quite a bit there. Immediately moving backwards. Both rocks are down. In production now, some Corruptors as well. But I just think the army count is really, really high right now. Of course, 123 population for Huk, 164 right now for Idra. And here comes this Protoss army.
Yeah, it does have the 1-0 upgrades. He's going to isolate Hydras, maybe pick them off. Doesn't look like it quite yet. Oh, no, he's darting forward with the Colossus. Will he end up losing some? No, Huk barely gets out in time, planting down 1 force field, but he is at a very good distance. Idra is well-versed in holding off pushes through this center.
And now he's got some Corruptors to also help out with those Colossus. I thought for sure one of them might get picked off. Alas, they did manage to get away okay. Still on 2 base here for Huk, and we have some Immortals coming out as well. Always a good choice if a Roach Heavy army is present, and 2 more Corruptors as well. Now I just want to take a real quick look. No, don't have any Infestation Pit. Obviously not going to go Hive quite yet. And we do have a Protoss taking a 3rd right now. A little bit tougher to defend, especially with those rocks down in the middle.
But we do see that there's so many Hydralists out right now that Idra can't really hope to push through the middle with no creep. He would need to do a creep highway. And we see there's also no chance that there's going to be any kind of Hive coming up soon. No Infestation Pit. Those Corruptors are moving through the middle of the map. Idra might be wise to just take a few Roaches and pick off that one. That one pylon. Yep, he is a little bit more than 2. He's just going to take a couple, pick it off. And right now, Huk is just, I mean, you know how I told you there are points when I get really nervous and stressed out in games. This is one of them. This is such a nerve-wrackingly close game because all the sentries are at the wrong position. Idra now positioning for a huge push, and there's the Nexus taking damage. Huk needs to react. He needs to end up pulling all those sentries back in time, and it looks like this Nexus is going to get canceled. Huk does manage to pull off the cancel in time.
Yes, and the creep is starting to spread almost to the front of that base. Nexus going to go down a 2nd time. We have had the rest of that army meet up all the same, so the sentries are back into position. The Corruptors, though, they look like they are trying to catch these Colossi out of position. If potentially you could try to get one, but instead Huk spots them, does get some initial damage done on them, and you can see Idra splitting his army here a little bit. It is now 179 for Huk, 199 for Idra. He's got a ton of money in the bank, and here we go.
It looks like some more dancing going on, and he moves in. The Corruptors end up taking a good amount of damage. There is all the corruption going down on those Colossi, but really not that many Colossi on the field, as is more Stalkers getting morphed in. Idra bringing in 15 more Hydras, 9 more Roaches. Huk does get the better end of the fight, but the reproduction from Idra is through the roof.
Yeah, absolutely. On the way, 19 Hydralists, 2 Roaches. We've also got +1 air, +2 missile attack as well. Through the middle, Guardian Shield is popped. We've got Immortals dancing around in the back, shooting any Roaches that get in their way. The Hydras seem to be fairly protected, though. The Roaches are now gone. Some Lings streaming in as well. Here comes some more Roaches, and don't forget, a lot of Hydras are about to be on their way. They're just marching down in a single file line and pushing Huk further and further back.
But Huk has a lot more gateway units. He needs to be careful when he gets off that creep. I think Huk actually has the superior force overall, but Idra is reinforcing so quickly. Zerglings and Hydras all coming out onto the field. Another round of Stalkers as Idra pulls back. This expansion does manage to get finished, but it looks like Huk manages to catch the Hydras when they're off creep, but the reinforcements just keep coming from Idra. He has so much money in the bank. Huk now losing the Immortal. It is just Stalkers versus Hydralists, and more Zerglings continuing to stream in. Another Immortal makes its way out onto the field, More micro from both players. It is an outright slugfest at the front.
It is absolutely a slugfest, but the chase continues. Immortal, oh my god, it manages to get away with 3 hit points, and it finally does go down. Some Stalkers on the bottom, Stalkers on the top, and it does look like Idra does manage to get all of Huk's units out of there. Will immediately start target firing this Nexus. Now here's where even more of a position, not only have you lost sort of the ground of your third base, but that middle is still open. And
wow. And the good game, Idra does it. Idra, who lost 2 unexpected games to Huk yesterday, getting knocked down to the loser's bracket, does manage to win the extended series 4-2. Idra must be feeling very, very pleased with himself.
So there you have it. Idra gets his revenge, at least for now. Make sure to join us on our next stop at the 2011 Pro Circuit in Columbus, Ohio, June 3rd through the 5th. All StarCraft action can be watched live over at www.majorleaguegaming.com.